Hey everyone, welcome to Live Coding with Jesse. I'm Jesse. Today we're going to do some routing with Node and Express. And we had a pull request from Niki, aka Rook, in the live chat. And I don't think Niki's going to be able to make it to this chat, but we're going to go over that pull request. I mentioned yesterday some of the things I needed to do with the routing. Niki reminded me that there was already a pull request there that was trying to fix those same problems. So apologies to Niki for me forgetting about that. But I did review the pull request. I have it on a branch here locally, and it looks good. I think it's going to solve all the problems that I was talking about yesterday. So we're going to merge that into the master branch, and we're going to try it out with some of our more difficult routes, make sure everything works all right. I'm also going to take you through the logic of it, and we're going to try to find any areas where we could make it faster, more efficient, where we could clean up the code, if at all possible. And that's the plan for today. I do want to let you all know, while we're kind of waiting for viewers to get here, that I received a job offer yesterday afternoon. So I'm not going to share details, at least not right now. So anyway, so I received a job offer. So I have a lot of thinking to do about that. But I know that some of you have been following my kind of process of interviewing and things like that, so I just wanted to give you all an update. And yeah, so I will be giving you more updates as things happen. And Blake asks if it's a bigger company. I think, like, in terms of total employees, I don't think it's as big as the university, but like geographically it's more spread out, so there are multiple locations, whereas the university is mainly just one location with we do have a campus in Austria, so I guess it's two. Let's see. All right. Abhishek is asking about CSS. We're not going to do a lot with CSS today, but we do use CSS, somewhat frequently. So if you check out some of the other streams as well, we'll get into that. But if you want to stick around today, we are going to do a lot of other stuff. Blake asks if it's a web developer job. Yeah, it is. Basically doing a lot of the same stuff I'm doing right now. I'd still be working with React, which is cool. All right, well, let's get started. And where am I at? All right, so now you should be able to see my screen. If you want to check out the pull requests that we're about to merge, you can go to the repository under pull requests. Currently, it's the only pull request that is not merged, so it'll be easy to find. And the particular file that we're really worried about right now is server.js. So we're going to spend all of our time in server.js. There are a few other things that I think we'll probably end up just getting rid of them, because there were some test things here, like you can see hat and hat list JS. So there's some test things just so that Niki could illustrate the new features that he built into this pull request. So we'll probably get rid of those at some point today. But let me start my Pomodoro session. So for those of you who are new or not sure how the stream goes, I break things up by Pomodoro session. So I will start this clock. It'll be 25 minutes. For 25 minutes, we're going to go through the code. I'm going to not really look at the live chat that much during that time, so I will glance at it occasionally. But after that 25 minutes is up, I'm going to take a 5-minute break, go back to the live chat, and go through all your questions and comments. And then we're going to do another 25-minute session of code. After that, the whole rest of the stream will be question and answer. So if you ask a question and I'm not getting into it right away, please be patient, and I will get to it. Within, the longest you have to wait is till the end of the stream, I suppose. And if you can't stick around to hear the answer, you can always watch the recording. And for those of you that are already watching the recording later on, you can ask me questions as well in the comments below, or on any type of social media that you like. I'm on pretty much all the main social media channels, so just find me somewhere. So I can't always get back to everyone right away, but I do try to get back to everyone at some point. Alright, so enough about that. Let's just get started. So I'm not going to start ngrok yet. Whenever we get this merged, then I'll start ngrok. And right now it's just not... I mean, I guess we could start it and it would work. Alright, so what I've done so far, I've made no changes to the code manually, but I've just merged what we had in master, because master was a little bit farther ahead than this pull request. So I merged everything in master into this alt router branch. The alt router branch is not in the repo right now, and I won't push it to the repo because we're going to merge it right now. It'll be part of master. So what did change from what's in the pull request are some of the routes in here. See, so we have a route named search that won't be in there. So just a few minor changes. So I'm going to increase the font size, make some room, and then step through what's going on. And then that way, as we step through it, maybe we can get an idea for ways to improve it. Although, nothing against Sneaky. This is really genius. I love this. But if there's a way to make it faster, refactored a bit, then we should take the opportunity, because this is a key function. I mean, every single visit is going to go through this function for every page view. So if we're going to find one spot where refactoring is going to have the most value, it'll be here. So anything we can do just to make it just a little bit faster will have a huge impact, when multiplied by all the visits, which we'll get, which will be millions over the course of, I think over the course of a year, we're getting, I don't know, 4 or 5 million visits. So, it's not like we're, top 10 site in the world or anything like that, but it's a lot of visits. Okay, so here's our object. So if you have been watching when we've done things about the router earlier, then you know what's going on here. But if you haven't, basically this object, we're listing a lot of routes. So this value here is what's going to come in through the URL. So in this case, I'm doing this locally, so it's localhost 3000 / if you went to /faculty, we're saying go to that component, the page component called faculty. That's what we want to render, and the data type is faculty. So we're telling the router what component to send this data to, and then we're telling it the data that actually needs sent. And then with that, it's going to go through a GraphQL query to WordPress. It's going to get the data. When the data comes back, the component will render, and then the user will be able to see the data. The reason that we are doing it like this, and it looks, it looks a little messy, right? Honestly, is because we have to keep all the routes, all the URLs the same from the current site, the old site, to this new one that we're making. So in order to do that, we need a lot of control over what the routes are. So we couldn't just use a built-in routing solution that comes with Next.js, or even trying to use a different routing solution, may or may not have worked, but it would have required a lot of customization. So we're just basically doing everything custom within Express, within our server.js file. One thing that I think would be good as this gets bigger is to put this into its own file and just import it in. So that's actually, maybe I'll make an issue about that, and then that'll be a really nice, very easy pull request for somebody to get if you're looking to get some pull requests on your GitHub profile, especially if it'll be your first pull request. So maybe I'll save that as an issue. All right, so let's actually step through what happens when you go to somewhere on the site. So we'll go through an easy example first. So if we go to /search, let's just assume we went to /search. It would go here, and server get would fire off, and we would do, we're checking parameters, right? So in this case, we only have this first parameter. Okay, so the other ones, there's not going to be anything there, right? We are making sure all the parameters go to lowercase. And yeah, okay, so if the parameter exists, which is pretty much every page except the home page, then we're going to take it, put it to lowercase. Otherwise, it's going to be null. And it's the same thing for each parameter. So it's either going to be null or it's going to be the lowercase version of that part of the URL. We do have some things that we don't want to do anything to in terms of custom routing. So any files that have these parameters, we're just going to let them pass right through, and we're not going to do custom routing. Otherwise, we're going to go down here, and we have a few things. So we have this default page route, and that's just kind of it has minimal styles. It's our default component to display data. We do have more specialized components to display certain types of data. We also have our type. If the user doesn't specify a type, they're going to take the parameter and then just add pages onto the end of it, and that will be the type. Okay, we've done it like this because this is the naming convention that I'm using for data types for a lot of the data types. Not all of them make sense to do it like that, but enough of them do that this is a good default and will save us some space in our object. And then the subtype and the ID are null for now, and they will be given a value if they exist. In this case, when we're just doing the search route, they don't exist. So actually, let me know if anyone's still there. I haven't seen anything in the live chat for a while, and that's weird. Everyone's usually more talkative, so it's showing that there are viewers, but there we are. Okay, that's something new. I was afraid that the stream cut out or something. Okay, let's see. All right, hopefully you all are still with me. Let me know if I need to explain something else, over again if it's not clear. So now we're really getting into the logic of things here. So we're going to filter out. This is kind of interesting. Let me make this a bit bigger as well. Okay. So we have an object, right? And normally you don't use filter on an object. You use filter on an array. So what object.values does, and we're doing that on our params, object.values returns an array of the values of the object. So objects our objects have key value pairs, we are just getting the values. And then we're filtering, and we want to know if the length is equal to 1. All right, why 1? Because we were checking for one parameter. And the comments in here that Nikki put in here are really good to explain what's going on. So we're actually, this will pass, this if statement will pass for what we have right now. And if we had 2 or 3 parameters, it would fail and we'd pass to the next one. So if they find, so we're looking in that translation object. So if we find as a key the name of that, which would be search, which is in our translation object, then we'll do what's in here. So we're going to get that search and then page, right? So within our search key, we have a value. So we basically have another object in there, and then we have another key called page. The value of that is going to be the component that we want to render this to. And in this case, we want to render it to the component named search. Okay, so it's going to find that, and then it's going to check for this next if statement. So if the value of page, actually, I'm sorry, first it's just checking if this exists. So I was getting ahead of myself. So it's just checking to see if the page value exists for that. Then it's checking to see if the page value is an object. If it is an object, we want to get the default value for the object. And this is some of the new stuff that's been added in by Nikki in this last pull request. So what we're doing by making the page, giving the page the option to be an object, is that we can have the same route render to different components depending on the number of parameters. So if it's one parameter, it does the default. But in this case, we don't have a default on search. So we're going to drop down to this else statement. So if there isn't a default, but there's still a value there, then it's just a string. So we're just going to take that string. So the value of page now becomes /search, the string /search. And we drop down to find our type. And in this case, I don't believe we have, do we have a type? Let me double check our objects. I don't think we have one. No, we don't. So in this case with search, we don't have a type, we don't have an ID, so it's just going to pass down, right? We're going to pass over that else if, okay, and we're going to pass all the way down to here, and we're going to render and cache, and we're sending all the data that we need. And where's our render and cache? There we are. So within this function, I'm not going to go over this because this isn't new stuff, but basically we're checking to see if we have that cached already, the actual markup rendered and cached on the React, the node server where this lives. If we do have a cache already, great, we just serve that up. No need to go grab the data anywhere, no need to re-render, it just goes right out. This is best case scenario. The user is going to get a near instantaneous response. If it's not cached though, then we're going to send it through, we're going to render, we're going to call this render to HTML, and so we're going to send all those query params, and then that's when everything's going to happen like I explained at the beginning, where the GraphQL query is going to go, get some data from WordPress, and then it's going to render. So the only difference if we had more parameters is that it would skip over that first if statement and would drop down to this else if we have 2 parameters, and then it would get Let's see. Objects. Where's our second param come into play? Okay, there we go. So something with two parameters then gets this value of, we grab the page.standard. So instead of the default page, we want to render this using a different component, which we're going to give the key of standard. And then if there are three, it looks like this isn't finished yet. So I don't think Nikki has finished this part yet. So, we'll need to grab, we'll find an example of something that has three parameters. We'll copy and paste a lot of this and then set it up. See if we can get the three parameter thing to work. Okay. I feel like I need to take a breath after that. Let me take a drink. I have my G Fuel handy, as I usually do. And all right, I'm going to quickly check the live chat to see if I lost anyone. Okay, it looks good. So, in about 10 minutes, I'm going to come back and answer questions in the live chat. Right now, what I'd like to do is find a route. I want to find a route where we're actually going to use some of this functionality, and then we're going to build out the rest of it. So I guess we could, this is entirely functional right now. So let me merge this with master, push it to GitHub, and then you'll have everything there to look at, all the code. So let's do that now. So I'm going to go back, checkout. So we're going to check out master. Now we're on the master branch, and I'm going to do a git merge, and we're going to merge that alt router branch. I've already merged master into alt router, so there should be no merge conflicts going the other way. I always recommend doing that so that you can test everything out while you're still on that branch. I think it just makes things a lot easier, especially if there are weird things going on. I mean, if nothing weird happens, it probably takes a little bit longer, but it's worth it. In case it messes everything up, then you can just abandon that branch, start over, much less of a mess. So let's merge. Awesome. We merged. Everything went well. And now I'm going to do git push. So now all of this new code is there. And I said there is some stuff to clean up. So we may or may not get to that, the actual cleanup stuff, because that's not really exciting to stream. So if you do notice at some point that things still need cleaned up and you'd like to get an easy pull request, feel free to do that. I'd like to help you all who maybe haven't gotten very many pull requests in or none at all to be able to have, get your first pull request in and get your practice in on something like this where I can help guide you through it if needed, and then build up your confidence a bit, and then you can go off to other open source projects and and work on those, because I know it's really intimidating to get that first pull request in on someone else's project. All right, so I need to go. Let me find. I think I had a window open on my other screen that was a good example of this. Academics, UG, majors. Yes, I do. All right. All right, let me check this page out. So academics, undergrad, majors. currently works, and that has 3 parts. Let's see where I have it going right now. So I think I had to mess things up a little bit to make it work. Actually, I do want to restart this too, just to make sure. Occasionally I have trouble when making big shifts between branches that some of the old code, it remains. So before I start doing anything, I'm going to check this out. Okay. Alright, so for that academics page, it's working. But what about our other academics pages? Okay, not working. Let's try our other academics pages. So in our drawer, what do we have? We should have a list of all the links in that side drawer, and that's what we need to change here to do our tests. Drawer menu. Where's our data? There we are. It is drawer menu. Okay. All right. So under academics, you can see here we're passing in academic undergraduate. So here's the URL that is typed in, and then we're passing in here as page type academics pages ID majors. Okay, cool. So we are passing in everything that we need here. So let's try passing in what we need from this one. So we have page type academics pages ID graduate programs. And the reason we're doing it like this has to do with our client-side routing. So you wouldn't always have to do this. Alright, let's save that and come back here and click this now. Okay, can't read property node undefined. Alright, I was kind of hoping we got an error. I didn't want it to it's not as fun when everything just works. Alright, so first thing to check is within WordPress, make sure that we actually have a page that fits this description. We may not. That might be the source of our error. Okay, almost time to go back and answer questions. Okay, cool. So that's working. My phone keeps thinking that I'm talking to it. And it keeps coming up with the, the Google thing, Google Assistant. All right, cool. So that is working. Awesome. When we come back, I'm going to try to I'm going to try to load some pages that I've been having issues with and make sure that our solution can handle that, because I was wasting significant brain power on trying to figure something out the last day or two. So that's what we'll go to. If it passes that test, let's say, then I'm really confident that this will work for us, so we can move on and build out what we need if we happen to get three parameters in our URL. Okay, so when we just did this, it was, I don't want to say it was a little bit of a cheat, but we were feeding the router exactly what we wanted. What we're going to do next, though, is users are going to put in a route, and it could be essentially like we won't be feeding the router the ID and the type and everything like we're doing in that list. So we want to make sure it can still pick out these different parameters and go where it needs to go. Oh, and I lost the live chat window. Where is it? Okay, I found it. I have live chat windows open for the last 2 weeks of streams. I really need to clean up my tabs. As soon as I update Chrome, they'll all go away. Okay, let me set this short break and scroll up and get to the chat. It's kind of quiet in the chat today, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Let's see. Oh, cool. I have, so Mad Duchess says congratulations. Thank you. If you missed it at the beginning, I got a job offer for a job yesterday, right at the end of my day, at my work day. I got a job offer, so I'm considering it among other opportunities. So I'll keep you all up to date on what happens and how it's going to affect the stream. But I just wanted to share that with you all, since you've kind of been with me along this whole process of interviewing and things. Let's see. Blake asks, what do you think about Vue as it looks simpler than React? I haven't used Vue, so my opinion on Vue is not going to be very reliable, let's say. But I've seen enough devs that I respect and that do good work using Vue that I can be pretty sure that Vue is a solid product, and I think it's a good alternative to React for whatever reason you may not want to use React. So can't speak from experience, but from what I do know, I think it looks promising. It looks good. I'm sorry, I was a little distracted. The head of my department just sent me a text. Okay. When your boss's boss messages you, you gotta read it, right? Let's see. Omar says the beard looks nice. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's getting a little bit longer. I'm gonna get it trimmed tomorrow. I'm gonna go get a haircut and the beard trimmed up. So it's not gonna be that much shorter, but it's just not gonna look as scruffy. I did comb it this morning, so I appreciate you noticing. It's getting to the point now where I wake up and it's like, wow, it looks crazy. So if I don't comb it, it really looks like puffed out and wild. Muhammad asks what software I use. I'm using Visual Studio Code as my code editor, and my terminal that you can see in the background is iTerm2. Hey, Niki's here. Awesome. Nikki, I thought you had family coming over. Hopefully, if your family comes over, please don't watch the stream anymore. Hang out with your family. If you are still here, though, I just want to let you know that your pull request is awesome. I really, really like what you've done. I'm pretty sure it's going to solve all the problems. So, really, really good work. I very much appreciate it. It just took a big load off me that I kept thinking of how I was going to make this work, not realizing that you had already solved it. So, thank you again. Craftsman06 says, can you shout out my channel? Sure. So I assume your channel is just Craftsman06. So there's your shout out. I don't know what your channel was about, so I can't really recommend it to anybody since I have no idea what it's about. But if anybody's interested in figuring out what that channel is, check out Craftsman06. Olzos is here. Hey Olzos, how's it going? See, John's here. How's it going, John? Waleed's here. Wow. Hey, I'm just gonna say hey to everybody. There's a lot of people saying hi. All right, Inna says that's great news. Thanks, Inna. Yeah, it is. It's great. I have a lot of decisions to make now, so I'm really happy to be in this predicament of having to really think and make some decisions now. It's a good problem to have. So yeah, it's exciting. Jason says congrats. Thank you. Olzos also says congrats. Says, is this the job where you had a 3-hour long interview? It is. It is that one. I had begun to think that I wasn't going to get an offer because a decent amount of time had gone by and I hadn't heard anything. So it was a very good surprise when I got that. It was right at the end of yesterday's stream. Right at the end of the stream, I got an email during the stream, I think, but I just hadn't checked my email then. And as soon as I ended the stream, I checked my email quickly before I had my next meeting, and I just saw it. Briefly got a chance to just scan through a little bit before my next meeting, and then I was sitting through this other meeting just like I couldn't wait to come back and read through everything about the offer. So anyway, my timer is up. So Mahmoud says hello from Turkey. So you doing awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it and welcome. Let's see. And Jason says decisions on frameworks seem to come down to team/project rather than features one has over another. Yeah, honestly, there's a lot of different decision points that go into what tech you're going to use, what stack you're going to use. So, yeah, I guess it's not always just simply about let's compare feature by feature. So, yeah, there's a lot of I've had to make a lot of decisions on what stack we're going to use, and there is a lot more involved. So luckily, I've been able to kind of work my way to a point where I have a lot of freedom with the tech stack that I choose, and a lot of people aren't in that position. So I do appreciate that I'm in a nice position there that not everybody's in. Okay, let's go back. Let's reset this timer. We're going to get in at least one more Pomodoro session. And let's see. NM Video says, I'm new. How are you? I'm doing really well today. How are you doing? Also, welcome. Thanks for watching. And that's going to be the last comment that I read until after this next session. All right. So we tried out a few routes. Now, here is where the bigger test is going to come into play. So I'm still trying to find on my other screen the routes that were giving me problems. Missions, undergrad, pathway, theology, associates. Okay, I think I found one. All right, so in our server index.js file. We have theology. And right now, it goes to the page major to render with the type of majors. Oh, okay. All right. We are going to have to modify this function. So what I need is, just like how we can have multiple IDs and pages, we need to be able to have multiple types. I need the ability to pull from different post types. All right, so let's do that. So right now what this is doing is, if you go to the page /theology, it pulls the post type with the slug of majors, or I'm sorry, with the slug of theology from the post type majors. And it renders that using the component major. But then what's going to happen is we're going to have a route, and it'll be /theology / like online associates is one of the routes. The problem then is, there is online associates is going to exist as a different post type. So it doesn't belong in the majors post type. So that's where we need a change. So let's go down here and see what we need to do. Apologies for the yawning. Let's see what we need to do to make that happen. I kept thinking, like, this is so easy. Everything's working. I knew it. I knew we were forgetting something. And so let's see where this is. So the type. So we're grabbing the default ID. ID second param. All right. So we're definitely going to do this in the second param spot. It makes no sense to do it with the first param. So second param, and where we have the type. Okay, so the type now is going to be an object. So let's grab all of this, copy it, you know what, I don't think I'm going to copy it all, because I want to... Oh, yeah, I guess I can. Let's copy that, and let's paste it here below this. So we're going to have to change everything here to type. Alright, so all of that is type. And then let's keep this standard. Alright, let's use that. And so that way it'll be easy to kind of tell, like, okay, if we have two params for both page and type, it's both going to be standard. We may end up changing... Yeah, maybe we can change that. So Nikki had mentioned about, like, the naming. He wasn't really sure about the naming, so for now I'm just going to keep it the same, because we all know the hardest part of coding is deciding what to name things. So let's just keep it the same. And let's remove this now. And now what we should be able to do is go up here and put in, where was I at? Theology. So let's do it like this. Let's say we're going to use the page type of major. Actually, you know what? I do want to keep it as major. So I just glanced at how this page is structured on the current site. I think we're going to structure it the same way. But we are going to change the type. So our default default. Oh, we're gonna have to do a default type too, aren't we? Yeah. Okay. Default type is majors, and our standard type is going to be theology pages. And we haven't even made this type yet, so to test this, really, I'm going to have to go ahead and make that, I suppose. Okay. And then our ID all right, we're gonna need, let's see, I need to go back down and see how we're handling IDs to see if we need to change this, but for now I think this will work. We do need to add something to make this default work. Let's see. If I'm jumping around too much, please let me know. If once I do this and we see if it works, I will go back and explain more. But I'd rather not explain something that's broken, and that way I may be misleading someone, and I'd rather not do that. So our default param. Okay, we need to add default type here. So let's take our type, and since we're now using standard and default, there we are. Okay. All right, that should work. And let's see what's going on with the ID. First param ID. First param, second param. Okay, so we are going to get the correct ID. It looks like that'll be fine. We won't have to change anything. So I'm going to save that. Save that route. Let's, I guess, very quickly add theology pages. Let's see where I don't think I've brought that data in anywhere, but if I have already, it will save us some time. So let me just take a second to look. So on my other screen, I have my WordPress admin panel open. If you really want to see that, let me know. But otherwise, I'm just searching for this content within the admin panel. This may be under associate programs. No. Okay. I don't think I have this here. All right. How much? Let's see if I have enough time. I think we have enough time for this to work. Maybe, or we could just try a different page where I already have all the data. How about that? Okay, so first, let me see. Sorry, I just quit talking in the middle of a sentence. Okay, so I've double checked. We do have some data that should work. I'm just changing, I'm changing the slug so it will work for us. Okay, so I'm going to test the route just to double check that it won't work with our current system. Oops. What? It works. Okay. How does it work? I guess because it has the same content type. Alright, how about this? Alright, here's what I'm going to do. Since I'm having trouble finding a suitable piece of content to test this with, and I don't want to take up the rest of our time in data transfer, which is really boring, let's build out the rest of what we know we need. And this is weird. Do we really need that? Now I'm wondering, do we really need this part yet? Like, how did this... What I'm wondering is, how did this even work? Alright, let me try out a few pages to see what's working and what's not working. I forgot. These links are not going to work for us. I guess we can make sure some links still work. Okay, there's a route that's using 2, and that still works. I think we did some of these routes. Okay, so here's one that Okay. So it's giving us, this page isn't giving us an error, but it's not taking us anywhere else. So it's giving it, this should be, the page URL is Admissions Franciscan Difference Undergraduate. But what it's giving us is the same page as if you went to the URL Admissions Undergraduate. So it looks like it's ignoring that second bit and just giving us the first two. So we will need that third, this third one here, and we'll need a way to handle those routes. I wish our URL structure were different, but this is what we have. So we have to make this work. So let's go now. All right. Okay, so we have our filter here. 3 parameters, page, first param, subtype, second param. Okay. All right, so let's see where I need to go from, from here to here. All right, so we'll start by copying and pasting, what we already have, and then we just need to modify it a bit. So we're gonna, instead of standard, let's say thirdly. It doesn't really matter at this point. So first from ID translation, ID. See, the ID is going to be third param, right? And the type so the first param is still undergraduate. I'm sorry. That's it. So third param, ID third param. All right, let me go. I'm gonna check the live chat quickly, see if anybody has any ideas for this. String modification, association, string object. Okay. 5 minutes. Okay, let's see. Let's walk through this and see what we need. In this specific case, let's check and see where this content lives at in WordPress. Okay, so currently this content has come in under the same content type as the rest of the admissions pages. So let's see where we're bringing in admissions pages. I think it's up here. Oh, we're not even doing anything. Okay, that makes more sense as to why it worked. Okay, yeah, so admissions pages were working fine without even having to put them in the object, because they fit the default pattern for type and they use the default component. So we didn't need anything in there. So since that was the case, it would always just take whatever the last thing is as the ID. Okay. So we are going to have to change that. So let's grab something that will probably end up being similar. Maybe let's do departments. Maybe. All right, let's do that, and let's put it down here. Let's get rid of hats right now while we're at it. Okay, so this would be admissions. Page type admissions pages, ID, default of admissions. I don't even know if we have a page that's just admissions. Oh, hey, we do. Okay, so yeah, so by default it'll just say admissions. Otherwise, what was the other one? Standard. All right, so if we don't have a standard ID, how do we use that standard ID before? With theology, right? Theology pages, standard type. All right, with this change, let's see what works and what doesn't work. Okay, so that doesn't work now, which makes more sense. Okay. Alright, so that's not working now. Missions, page type, missions pages. Two parameters, page first parameter. Second parameter is the ID. Okay, this should be fine. We should be getting the right type. And then .id, translation first frame, ID, second frame. Okay, so it's not working, I guess because of the ID thing. So, all right, so I think it can't handle right now the ID as an object. So we're just going to change this up a bit so that it can handle that. Whoops. Dot type. ID, and this is going to be standard. And now we can get rid of this. First frame, and first frame ID. Okay. All right, let's try that out now. Let's see if we can get this to work. No. Okay, so if Seti objects first frame type ID standard else. Oh, you know what? I'm not. We need to add in more checks. All right, let me go back to the live chat here, and because my my Pomodoro timer ran out. Okay, so let me just explain quickly what the next step needs to be and why this isn't working, and then I'm going to go back to the live chat and answer all your questions. So what we've done is we've given it the ability to handle the ID as an object and to check for the ID, dot standard. But what happens if there is an ID object, but there isn't an ID dot standard? So in that case, what we need to do here is after we do this check, if it is the type of object, and we could probably just put an and here, and there is this ID standard that exists, then what we want to do is set the type to standard. If that's not the case though, so we need a else here. Standard. I guess we already have the else going here. So if that is the standard, type equals first frame ID. Okay, so this one was checking to make sure we could still use a string as the ID. So that's not 100% necessary. We could potentially always have an object, and that would be okay. So just for demonstration purposes, let's take this out. So let's say else, meaning there is an object, but there's no standard key on that object. Type is going to equal second param. Let's save that. and see if I know what I'm doing. No, and I don't. I don't know what I'm doing, unfortunately. Cannot query field undergraduate on type root query. Yep, not sure what I did there now. So we're going to the right place here, going to the right place here. This should just be ignored. Wait a second. The ID is already second param. So we're still in, so there is an ID, and then if it is an object and there is standard, it does this. Let's take this back for a second. Yeah, so that wasn't going to run because we're saying if there is an object. So we need to pull this out. That was my mistake. That was bad logic on my part. So the idea of what I'm saying works, but I put the if statement. I combined those if statements, and I should not have combined those if statements. So if it is an object, we're going to say, then we're going to check to see if this is a lot of if statements. Then type standard, else it's going to be, I don't need the else, right? Do I need the else? Let's put the else in just to be sure. Second param. Alright, let's see if that works. This is the last thing I'll try. Whether or not it works, I'm done. And I'm going to go to the live chat. I'm feeling that point where my brain just needs a break anyway. Oh. One more hard refresh. Alright, didn't work. Okay, so mission not accomplished today. We did get some things working that weren't working before, and then I broke some stuff that was working. So I guess kind of a win. I mean, like, all in all, I think there are more pages working than we had when we started. So we can be happy about that. I wish we would have figured out what was going on here, but just not going to happen right now. So I'll work on this some more today. Hopefully I'll have it fixed by tomorrow. And if you have any questions, please put them in the live chat right now. I'm scrolling down through, and I will answer everything in the chat. Here's a question from Blake. I need a new laptop. Which should I get? Lenovo ThinkPad versus Dell XPS 2.1 versus Surface Pro 2.3 with at least i5 8 gigabytes of RAM. Mad Duchess says the Surface Pro seems powerful. Little experience with it, but look and feel beautiful. Dell is always decent powerful. So I'm an HP girl myself. I always have lag on Lenovo no matter the specs. Mad Duchess also says Dell has never let me down. I've had 4 different Lenovos, 2 laptops, and 2 desktop. Always the same lag issues. I'm a bit of a tech geek. I have 3 Dell machines, all beautiful and powerful, never miss a beat. Don't have much experience with Surface Pro. My dad has one and it's nice, but I don't use it enough to give a full and accurate UX UI opinion on them. Alright, cool. That was super informative, Mad Duchess. Thank you for that. Yeah, I've been using Macs primarily now for about 2.5 years. So I don't think I've been out of the PC world for too long, the Microsoft world for too long, to really know what's going on there. John says, I just got a new Lenovo Yoga 920 glass, set up most of it yesterday, love it, installed Visual Studio Code just now, impressed. Love the stylus for my art. 16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte solid state drive. That's cool. Congratulations on the new computer, John. Let's see. I'm using... Oh, Nikki, I didn't realize you had switched accounts. Alright, I need to go back through and read some of this, now realizing that Nikki switched accounts. Oh, I see now where you told me you switched accounts. Oh, it all makes sense now. Let's see. There's some more discussion about different PCs, so I'm kind of skipping over a bit. Alright, Joan says, I really think today, Jesse, you've got my brain fried. Usually I can follow. I can kind of follow, LOL. Yeah, today my brain's a bit fried too. This routing stuff has been really tricky. Every time I think I have it figured out, I find a different URL on the main site that just won't quite fit with what we have. So yeah, I may actually like draw some of this out on paper to help me visualize what's really happening. That may help me. That really might help me see the big picture and not mess things up. So that's going to be my next step here after I end the stream. Olza says, how to use ngrok in my project. I don't remember exactly how I set it up initially because it's been a while, but check out the instructions on how to use ngrok. It's not, I'm trying to think. I mean, it's just a command line tool. So you would, in terms of what you're doing with your project, nothing in your project would actually have to change at all. So this would just run right alongside your project. Zubin says, what coding style / guideline do you follow? I see you don't use semicolon in your JavaScript. I was following a style similar to yours and got a hard time from a coworker. Yeah, I follow standard JS. I don't like using the semicolons. Seems to me that if there's a character that doesn't need to be there, then it's inefficient to keep putting it there. And the circumstances where you actually need a semicolon in JavaScript are very rare. If I were to come across one of those circumstances, then I would use a semicolon, but I don't need to. So some people have very strong opinions about semicolons, so that's probably where your coworker was coming from there. Personally, it doesn't matter if you use semicolons or not, but if you're working on one of my projects and you try to commit, it'll automatically remove the semicolons. So you can do it however you want, and then it's going to get turned into the standard way that we're using. The way I see it, you can use them, you can not use them. If there's a certain way you have to do it for a project, then yeah, follow that way. Or set up some sort of automatic formatting so that you can type however you want and it'll get formatted the way it needs to be. Anna says, how was your day, Jesse? Pretty good so far. Got in, last night was rough. Cordelia, my little one, she's 1.5, and she was sick, and she just wanted me to cuddle her last night. So I took her, and she was just coughing and up a lot. And then, you got a baby right next to you, you're trying to sleep. It's like I'm always waking up, making sure she's okay. Even when she's still sleeping, I'm waking up, and I woke up in the middle of the night and felt her leg. Her leg felt really cold, and so I was like freaking out, like, oh, is she all right? So I'm trying to listen for her breathing, and I couldn't hear anything. So then I'm really freaking out. So then I grabbed her, and she moved. And so I was, of course, very relieved, but then you just have that adrenaline rush, right? So it's hard to go back to sleep. So I didn't get that much sleep. I still have my sore throat. I don't know if I haven't been feeling well the last, I guess it's been a week now. Just kind of sore throat, sluggish, tired. So anyway, I woke up kind of late, didn't get my workout in, but I was able to get into work about 8:15 a.m., which is pretty early compared to everybody else in my office here. So it's kind of nice to get in like that. And so I guess it's been not a bad day so far. I'm feeling good. A little tired, but I'm feeling good otherwise. Thanks for asking. How was your day, Anna? Noble and Savage says, you sexy bearded coder. That's probably the first time anybody's ever said that phrase to me. Congratulations. That's you are the first. And I really that's a great way to describe me, I think. So anyway, hey Noble Savage, how's it going? Mad Duchess says, brain fry happens, but it's good. It means we have something new to learn. Yeah. Hopefully, like, when you work out, your muscles get sore and then they get stronger. Hopefully your brain's like that too, because I'm about to get really stronger in my brain. Because my brain is super fried right now. John says, you're going to have to show us your artwork, the big picture. Oh, boy. If I draw something up, I will show you, but it's not going to be that great. My artwork skills are minimal, and that's like putting it nicely. Alright, well, I think I'm going to end the stream now, and probably take a little break to rest my brain before I go back at this. Let me think, what's going on tomorrow? I'm going to try to stream tomorrow if I can. I have a couple of meetings and things going on, so I'll try my best to fit in a stream tomorrow. Not sure what time I'll be able to do that yet, but hopefully we'll be able to have one. And I think, yeah, I think that's it for me. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate all the help. Thanks for hanging in there when I was just confusing my own self. And until tomorrow, have a wonderful day.